Okay, I did just get done filming another video, but I felt like doing another one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do another one. If this bugs you, I'm sorry, I don't feel like changing clothes or redoing all of my makeup again, so I'm not going to. But as you can probably tell from the title, this is going to be my unpopular opinions on Warbraker slash my Warbraker review. And I just want to start off by saying I don't hate Warbraker or think that if you like it, you're bad or anything like that. Like, everyone's opinions are their own, and I just didn't care for it as much. Like, I did give it a 2 out of 5 stars, so it wasn't like a 0, it wasn't a 1. It was okay. It was a Brandon Sanderson novel, so that automatically gets him like 2 stars just for his world building and everything. I'm going to have to try and remember all the characters' names because I am terrible with names. Okay, so basically, I just want to start off with saying that I'm a big fan of publication orders and reading things in order. Like, if I don't do it, it just feels wrong. So that's why I've gone through with like all the Witcher books, even though you probably don't have to read the short stories first. So I had tried to read Brandon Sanderson novels in publication order. So I started off with Elantris, even though a lot of people said not to. I thought it was amazing. I loved Elantris. And then I was going to try and read a few other things first. I was going to try and read Mistborn next, I think. But then I joined the amazing, first off, it was a Stormlight archive read through, buddy read. But now it's just become like a Cosmere buddy read, so that's great. They're amazing. And so that's why I started reading Stormlight Archive first. But with the order that we were reading things in, we read Way of Kings, and then we read Warbraker, and then we read Words of Radiance. So that was like the middle between the two huge books. And going from Brandon's just expansive and amazing and such like beautiful built world of like Roshar and everything that happens in the Stormlight Archive that is just so intriguing and there's so much happening. Going to Warbraker, which is kind of meh. Like, I don't know how to put that in a better way. Like, I'm not great at reviews, so this is mainly just me talking. But I just did not care for I don't feel like the world is realized as much as his other works were. And okay, so starting off with my first issue, which I know is a really small one, but I did not like the fact that we never hear from Vivenna in the series mother. And maybe this happens in Elantris too, and I just didn't notice, and if so, then I have that same issue in Elantris. But I really felt like we should have gotten some even mention of their mother. Like, is she dead? Is she on vacation and she's gonna come home to find out that her husband married off the wrong daughter or something? So, like, why is she never mentioned? Why? Because, like, I talked to the Stormlight Archive group about this, and the general consensus was just like, oh, she's not important to the story. But this is a woman whose children are just being sent off to go live with what they believe is a monster. And then her other daughter runs off, so, like, why is she not getting a say in any of this? Like, I just feel like we should have at least heard that she's dead, or they got a divorce and she hates the family or something. I don't know. Like, just tell me what happened to her. Yeah, I did not care for Venna because I felt like, I know that she's supposed to be a very, like, high and mighty character and, like, holier than thou, and, like, this whole thing is, like, her overcoming that, but it just felt like it just took it too far. Like, she was so aggressive and angry, and I get that people are angry whenever you think that, like, these people are trying to destroy your people and destroy your homeland. Like, they kind of are. Like, certain people are, but just, she directed that anger in the wrong direction, and I understand that's part of her character, but she never really came back from that. Like, she realized that she shouldn't be angry or something like that, but it just wasn't, it was frustrating, and she wouldn't listen to anyone around her, and just, I was very frustrated by Vivenna, and I was really hoping that I would like her, because I didn't care for Siri all that much. I didn't find Siri all that interesting either. Like, none of these main characters were really all that interesting. I think my favorite was probably, sorry, I'm looking down so I have all their names. My favorite was probably Lightsong, just because he was the most interesting character, besides the sword, and I'm trying to think of what the sword's name is without looking at any spoilers. Nightblood. The sword's name is Nightblood, and he's cool. I liked him, or them, it. I don't know what the correct pronouns are for a sentient, inanimate object. If you guys do, let me know, that'd be cool. But I just didn't find any of the characters all that interesting or relatable. Like in Elantris, I'm going to be comparing these a lot because these are like the two different starting points that everyone says. You either start at Elantris or you start at Warbraker. And so in my mind, they're always like being compared. And in Elantris, there were less women characters, but like main characters. But the main character was a lot more competent and a lot more human. Like, she had her strengths and she had her weaknesses, and she was very aware of those. And I get that not everyone is, but I enjoyed following her character more. And so yeah, now we're getting into a bit of a, I don't know if it's a controversial thing, but something that I know a lot of people have different opinions on. And I did not like light weavers or blush weavers. Sorry, I'm trying to see. They do not put her name on the Wikipedia page. That is so frustrating. But I'm 99% sure it's blush weaver. I do not like the way that she was portrayed, or any of the female return, to be honest. But like blush weaver was the one we saw the most, and so we really saw just how overly sexualized she was, but also how overly sexualized a lot of the characters in this book are. Like, you have Avenna having her whole crisis about modesty and like being modest and how trying to dress modestly sets her apart, but they never explain why she feels the need to dress more modestly. Like, there's no thing about like, this is part of her religion, this is just how she feels more comfortable. Like, part of her becoming like better is learning that she doesn't have to dress modestly, and I find that weird. Like, modesty isn't a problem you should fix. Like, if that person feels uncomfortable with it, then yeah, they can dress however they want. Like, anyone can dress however they want. But it just felt like a weird thing to be fixed at the end of the book. And I know that wasn't the point or any of that. I didn't love the way that they handled, I don't know how to say this, like, I don't want to get into like disability issues, because obviously this person was like mutilated as a child, but like it just felt like a bit of a cop-out to be like, suddenly the God King has his tongue back. Yeah, but I mean, back to the like this over-sexualization of everyone. Like, Siri starts wearing pretty much like see-through clothing, which like, wear whatever you want, but it was just such a big jump from like, is she uncomfortable with this modesty? Like, how it doesn't seem realistic for someone that is always dressed modestly as a part of her culture, and then she goes somewhere else and is immediately wearing like see-through gowns where you can see literally everything in front of hundreds of people. Like, it just felt weird. And how I get that she's there to like have the air, but like, I don't know, it just felt, everything felt overly sexualized. Like, I didn't like the descriptions of the women, I didn't like the focus that was put on their bodies, and I just felt kind of uncomfortable reading it. And this is my opinion. I'm not saying that if you read it, you're anti-feminist. I'm not saying if you like it, then you're like obviously sexualizing all the women around you. Like, this is my personal opinion. And there are amazing people that love Warbraker and hate Elantris, and I completely understand that. Like, this was just my personal feeling that I got while reading it. And I'm not saying that Brandon Sanderson is like sexist or anything. And I understand that there are arguments that, well, this is just how the world needed to be described, because like, Blush Weaver just had to dress like she wore nothing but like ace bandages covering stuff, because that's just how she saw the ideal like, female, and that's what she's like. And it's odd. I just find it odd that everyone's idea of the ideal human is incredibly scantily clothed and always ready to have sex. Like, I just find that odd. But, maybe that's just my opinion. Like, yeah. I also don't like the descriptions of Blushweaver's chest, bosom. I'm not sure what I can say if, I don't know. I don't know what I can say on here, but her bosom was described all the time. Like, every time that she walked into the room, it was like, yes, Blushweaver and her perky tits have walked into the room, and it was just weird. I didn't like it. I felt like the plot was incredibly busy. I did not care for there were just so many characters and so many things happening, and I get that that happens in Brandon Sanderson novels, but this one just felt too busy. Like, in Way of Kings or any of the Stormlight Archive, like, yes, there's so much happening, but it's also a super long book. And whereas I feel like if he's going to write these shorter books, he needs to be able to kind of condense the plot slightly, because there were just so many main characters, and you have the, like, bodyguards turned bad guys, the guy that did no one else get that he was mutilating animals? Like, his animals kept disappearing, and immediately I was like, oh yeah, he killed them. And they're just like, oh, lost another one, and I'm like, what? And then she's so surprised by the fact that he was killing these animals. Did you not get that, hun? Like, he was pretty clear about that. I was so frustrated with these characters. And not in, like, the I'm so frustrated but I love this still sort of way, but in the I'm so frustrated I want to throw this book in the corner sort of way. So, yeah, I'm glad that I read the free download and didn't pay money for this, I guess. I just didn't care for it, and I swear my reviews next time will be a bit more coherent. I'm just doing this off the top of my head because I wanted to talk, and wanted to talk to some people today, even if I'm not hearing back from you immediately. So, yep, as usual, socials are in the link down below. What are your thoughts on Warbraker? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did these things bother you as well? Do you see another side of this? Like, I'm completely open to discussion, guys. Like, do not take what I say. Like, I could change my mind on it, maybe, if you guys offer enough evidence, but it just wasn't my style. And I'm hoping that Mistborn will be more up my alley, because I've loved Elantris, I've loved Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, Edge Dancer, like, all those things have been amazing. It's just been a Warbraker that I haven't really cared for. So, yeah, I was trying to end this. Socials down below, and I'll see you guys later.